I'll destroy you unless you do what I tell you. How does this sound to you? Would this opening motivate you to cooperate with someone, assuming he doesn't have a gun pointing at you? Equivalent to this is Trump's statement that he will build the wall, an amazing wall on the US-Mexico border, and Mexico will pay for it. No negotiation, no nothing, just plain and simple order to Mexicans to pay for something that they didn't ask for. Should we be now surprised that at the end the US is the one who's paying? For learning how Trump should have negotiated better, stay until the end of this video. Hello guys, I'm Žarko. Welcome to Cobblestone negotiations. Illegal immigration from the US southwest border is something that bothers many Americans. And exactly that was the card that Trump used for his 2016 elections campaign. He promised to solve this problem by erecting the wall, or more precisely, the steel fence. Moreover, he said that Mexico will pay 100% for the wall, but they just do not know it yet. At the beginning, Trump estimated that the final cost for the wall would be between $10 and $12 billion. Another optimistic statement. To be honest, he said that if he builds the wall, that would be the cost. However, if other, presumably less capable builders do it, the cost would be much higher. Also, to make things even worse, when Mexicans opposed the idea of paying for the wall, Trump just said that because of that, the wall just became another 10 feet taller. With these statements, Trump didn't respect two of our negotiation principles, and in a minute I will elaborate further on that. For more about our negotiation principles, please check out this video. Anyway, at the end, during the Trump administration, it was built around 732 kilometers of barriers, and only 79 kilometers of barriers along the border where previously there was none. To remind you, the US-Mexican continental border is 3,145 kilometers long, and as of January 2009, there had already been around 930 kilometers of some kind of barriers in place. If we put aside the functionality of the wall itself and its effectiveness that are many questioning, at least in the shape that Trump advocated, there is still the question of the wrong negotiation approach from the Trump side. Of course, that's his aggressive style of negotiation that probably works sometimes in business, when he is in a position to intimidate less powerful adversaries. However, the problem here is that he was negotiating on an intra-government level in the same way as he was negotiating probably with his suppliers. What do I mean by this? If you choose, let's call it Trump's way of aggressive negotiation, you will probably achieve some short-term gains, assuming you're already in the position of power. However, in the long term, your achievement will suffer as you are not building quality relations with your counterpart. In this case, Trump is just trying to force the other side into submission, and in the nature of human being is to oppose it as soon as they get the chance. The first violation of our negotiation principles is that Trump didn't start a negotiation in a friendly way. He said that he respects the Mexican president, his negotiation counterpart, but in the next sentence he already claimed that Mexicans will pay for the wall that he promised to the American people. To me, that didn't sound very respectful. So it doesn't surprise us that Mexicans rejected that possibility, if they even took it into serious consideration. Now, when you think about that statement, it sounds really strange that many Americans actually believe that Trump will somehow force Mexicans into paying for something that they didn't want in the first place. The only plausible reason that I can think of why Trump introduced this idea of Mexicans paying for the wall is that he wanted to create some kind of a bargaining chip for other real negotiations about the North American Free Trade Agreement. But still, this wall story helped him come to power so I tend to believe that he meant it seriously. The second violation of our negotiation principles is that Trump took away the opportunity for Mexicans to save their face. If he was serious about forcing Mexicans into paying for the wall, his aggressive approach, although obviously good for domestic purposes, didn't get the same level of approval from Mexicans, to say it lightly. Imagine if you're the president of any sovereign country and someone tells you, even if that someone is the president of the United States, that you need to pay billions for something that your country doesn't want. How would you react? You would probably respond with equal determination as you have your own domestic audience that you need to think of. And as soon as you reject that idea publicly, there isn't any way back that would allow you to save your face. Therefore, the negotiation, if you can call it like that, is finished before it even starts. Undoubtedly, Trump had many successes as a businessman, although probably not that much as he claims. However, he failed to distinguish different kinds of negotiations. It's one thing to intimidate less powerful business partners, and a completely different story if you try the same approach with foreign countries' representatives. I'm not naive to think that powerful countries like the US do not impose her will on the rest of the world, but Trump's approach of publicly doing it was just wrong from the start. It just didn't give many options to Mexicans apart from fighting back and rejecting this idea. If you like this amazing, beautiful video, please hit the like button and subscribe to this channel so we can continue with our obviously amazing work. Thanks for watching.